another guy. We're going to talk about another guy that they picked up in Blake Hance from
Yeah.
Cleveland. And how important of an addition do you think he's going to be? And is it significant that he made the 53-man roster and not the practice squad?
Absolutely. Blake went undrafted in 2019. He started 8 games last year with Cleveland at right tackle. And I think there is some, there's question marks with Mike McGlinchey at that right tackle spot. He dealt with the quad injury last year, it ended his season, and now he's got a troubled knee, I'll say. So I think there's definitely question marks with him regarding week 1 and for the entire season. And the 49ers were not satisfied with Mills. I think he was cut. And we saw, I think it was Justin School was at the right tackle spot, I believe. And he got cut as well. So the 49ers definitely needed to add depth at that tackle spot. And we'll see what he can do. I saw a few content creators put up, a highlight package, if you would call it that, of Blake Hance. And hey, he looks solid. He was going up against, Joey Bosa. So, hey, he held up well there. And I think he could compete at that right tackle spot for sure. And I think it's great that he made the 53-man active roster. And I think it goes to show that there's really a question mark with Mike McGlinchey going forward. And it's unfortunate because he's going into a contract year. This is his last year. He wants to make generational wealth just like Trent Williams. Not that he's that type of player. But hey,
no Trent Williams.
He ain't making a trip. But he's striving to get a significant increase in what he's making now. I think it's like 10 million or whatever. So, if he can make more than that on a multi-year contract extension, that would be a best case scenario for McGlinchey. But who knows if he'll be able to make it through the entire season. And it's unfortunate because I think I don't know if I can say he's lived up to the first round pick by the Niners, because if you live up to the first round pick, you would expect a contract extension with that same squad. And I would be surprised if that happened. So I think he was a solid pick. I think at his best, he's a great run blocker. And I think out of 40 out of 45 pass attempts, McGlinchey would do just right. And then 3rd down and 9.
It's exactly when you don't need him.
Exactly. The time we don't need a sack, we don't need a penalty, and then McGlinchey will do that. And unfortunately, that's all we remember. But I think McGlinchey is solid. I think he is one of the better right tackles in the league when healthy. We'll see. We'll see if we, see that this season though.
Yeah, and I mean, he's one of the best run blockers in the league.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in this kind of system. But this is the thing. This is the reason why I'm going back and forth about does he make it back next season? Because I think the only reason why he may not make it back next season is because of his injury issues.
Yeah,
he's had some real problems with injuries the last couple of years, and but Kyle actually likes those linemen that can, as long as they can run block. He doesn't really put a premium on pass blocking. Like, I think Trent Williams is really the only offensive lineman that we got that's really good at pass pro. That's really good at both. So I think he really kind of more trusts in that run blocking, and then you just got to give me something. Just put a body, just make him go around you, something like in pass pro. But and like you said, he's not always bad in pass pro. It's always when you least need it that he just whiffs or something random.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like, I think this guy Hance is, I don't think people should be ridiculously excited about it. But I asked a few guys on Twitter, I asked a few of the Browns fans about Hance, and they were really upset about losing him. They thought that he was like their Daniel Brunskill.
Okay.
They thought of him in that respect. So to have like 2 Daniel Brunskills that can kind of fill in across the line, because this guy's even played some center.
Wow.
And so it's to have 2 of those guys on your squad that can just kind of plug holes when you need to. I think that may be pretty valuable. And it might be, this guy Hance was always on practice squads and they would bring him up when they need him, but he's got like 17 starts.
Yeah.
So I think that it was a really good pickup, and I think it was really good value for what they got. And I think that they're planning on starting McGlinchey on week 1, but realistically speaking, I don't know how long he'll be able to go. I like because he was looking kind of ginger in the videos that I saw him playing in
Yep.
practice.
Yeah, during practice.
So,
So yeah,
so yeah, we'll see.
he doesn't look 100% healthy, and that and
No,
that and unfortunately in the NFL, you don't get healthier the more you play during the season. You only get
yeah,
worse.
yeah, that's
So
not the way it works. But so I guess so I was really kind of surprised at some of the guys that made it back to the practice squad.
mhm.
There was a few guys that I thought had really good off seasons and really good preseason, looked good in the preseason. Were you surprised at some of the names, or are we just partial to our guys because we see them all the time?
I would say we're more partial, because I think you could look at a handful of guys that are on every practice squad that look good in preseason, but are you good enough to take someone else's spot on a 53-man active roster? Like you talk
That's
about,
true.
you mentioned Jason Poe. You know, he went undrafted for a reason. You know, he came out of
Mhm.
Mercer. He's showing promise clearly because the 49ers wanted him back on the practice squad, but you know, I think he shows some good things, but I think Shanahan really relies on veteran guys. You could look at last year with Tom Compton. I know Tom Compton, he filled in pretty well for McGlinchey,
Mhm.
but Shanahan loves his crafty vets. That's why Brunskill is still on this active roster because he can put him
Mhm.
anywhere, center, guard, tackle, doesn't matter, and he knows he can depend on him.
Yep.
I'm glad that we got Marcel.